Hello and welcome everyone, it's Capcan here and we are looking at our Shaman talent tree. First of all, it's gonna be like general Shaman talent tree, then we're gonna look at enhancement, then at elemental, and then probably at restoration at some point in the some future and stuff like that. So yeah, just let's go with enhancement. We've already have chain lightning taken, and what do we have here? Chain heal in the first row. Okay, heals the friendly target for 2300, then jumps to heal the 3 most injured nearby allies. Healing is reduced by 30% with each jump. Okay, lava burst. Oh, interesting. Hurls molten lava at the target, dealing 1000 fire damage. Lava burst will always critically strike if the target is affected by flame shock. And then astral shift. Shift partially into the elemental planes, taking 40% less damage for 8 seconds. Yeah, so just like your damage reduction talent. Like, I love this. Straight up, I love how the layout looks here and here. Talent, there are like plenty of talents and stuff to go. I hope that they're like very good. Earth Elemental. Color calls forth a greater Earth Elemental to protect you and your allies for 1 minute. While the Elemental is active, your maximum health is increased by 15%, 5 minutes cooldown. So yeah, that's our defensive-ish cooldown with Earth Elemental. Earth Shield. Okay, so previously was on the if I'm correct, it was on our just general talents in like class 3, subclass 3, and now it's here. Protects the target with an earthen shield, increasing your heal on them by 20%, healing them for 800 when they take damage. This heal can only occur once every few seconds, maximum 9 charges, instant, plenty of mana. Cost, and Earth Shield can only be placed on 1 target at a time. Only 1 elemental shield can be active on the Shaman. So on the Shaman, okay, which is quite right. Then we have our Wind Shear, Disrupt, so instant 12 seconds cooldown, 30 yards range, disrupts the target's concentration with a burst of wind, interrupt the spell casting, preventing any spell in that school from being cast for 3 seconds. So that's quite nice, good, and normal. Choose one. Either Plains Traveler reduces the cooldown of Astral Shift. Okay. And increases its duration by 4 seconds. So instead of 2 minutes cooldown, it's 1.5 minutes cooldown, and it's 12 seconds duration instead of 8 seconds. Very handy. So like it's pretty good buff for serious defensive cooldown. Or Astral Bulwark. Astral Shift reduces damage taken by an additional 15%. Okay, so it's quite clear that if you need more powerful, more potent defensive cooldown on some phases where it's like it's questionable, either you are gonna live or are you gonna die, then you're gonna take Astral Bulwark. Or if you just need like more uptime on defensives to take sustainable damage that is gonna be dealt to you either way, and you want to help your healers in stable phases to not lose so much mana, you're gonna take Plains Traveler. Pretty easy here choice. Either Spirit Wolf or Thunderous Pause. Spirit Wolf, while transformed into a Ghost Wolf, you gain 5% increased movement speed and 5% damage reduction every 1 second, stacking up to 4 times. So that's currently what we had in game already. And Thunderous Pause, Ghost Wolf removes snares and increases your movement speed by an additional 25% for the first 3 seconds, may only occur once every 60 seconds. So that's way more of a hardcore movement ability and movement impairing stuff cleansing ability, which is like this Thunderous Pause looks better because Spirit Wolf, you need to stack the duration. It's for like some if you have long phases where you don't have to do anything and you need to take reduced damage, then maybe, but mostly, or if you just need passive movement speed, maybe in like old raids and stuff like that, for you to just be faster, you're gonna take this, but most of the time Thunderous Pause looks way more significant. Then we have Frost Shock, chills the target with frost, causing 900 frost damage and reducing the target's movement speed by 50% for 6 seconds, and 5.7 seconds cooldown with current my haste. Alright, so already plenty of different abilities. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit painful to not take such a large part of the talent tree, because like you have same amount of points, but like maybe even almost like 1.5 to 2x amount of talents than some other classes, yeah, which like, yeah, seems kind of crazy. Fire and Ice increases your fire and frost damage you deal by 3%, so you can spec into frost damage while you're not really dealing that much frost damage as enhancement, but still you have your Ice Strike. And if you want to go with Frost Shocks, man, it's gonna be quite cool to playing Shamans. Capacitor Totem, 1000 mana, 1 minute cooldown, summons a totem at the target location that gathers electrical energy from the surrounding air and explodes, stunning all enemies. So that's our AoE stun ability, which maybe not be useful at some encounters in raids where you can skip it and stuff like that, where you don't really have large amounts of ads that have to be controlled. It's definitely gonna be 100% good in M+, like crazy utility and stuff. It's good in PvP, but depends on what other talents we have here. Cleanse Spirit removes all curse effects from a friendly target. That is way more like ish, kinda like you don't know if you need that utility all the times, unlike Capacitor Totem. But okay, yeah, like just additional utility. Focused Insight. Casting Flame Shock reduces the mana cost of your next heal by 10% and increases the healing effectiveness by 15%. So, and it goes up to 20 and 30%, which again creates more emphasis on you trying to be more of a hybrid class, which is quite cool. And there is clearly some paths where you're gonna be, yeah, like, man, I love this talent tree already. It's such wide, it's so wide, it's like very cool. Then we go with Flurry. Increases your attack speed by 15% for next 3 melee swings after dealing a critical strike with a spell or ability. Just passive increase for your attack speed for next melee swings, okay. Then we go either Purge or Greater Purge. Purge purges the enemy target, removing 1 beneficial magic effect, instant, no cooldown, 30 yards range. And Greater Purge is instant, 12 seconds through cooldown, purges the enemy target, removing 2 beneficial magic effects. Yeah, which is gonna be very handy in like in PvP, because you can spend only 1 GCD and like remove 2 beneficial magic effects, and it's just better for your damage uptime if you're dealing damage and you're not spending your time purging enemies. Yeah, very interesting that you have choice here. Greater Purge looks very cool. Then once more talent that you're choosing either one or another. Either Static Charge reduces the cooldown of Capacitor Totem by 5 seconds for each enemy it stuns, up to maximum reduction of 20 seconds. So from the 1 minute it can go up to 40 seconds cooldown. And then Guardian's Cudgel. When Capacitor Totem fades or is destroyed, another Capacitor Totem is automatically dropped in the same time, in the same place. So that's probably more of a PvP oriented talent, because mobs don't really, but fades. Wait a second. If it fades, so if it procs, then another Capacitor Totem is automatically dropped at the same place, and you have additional, like, what, 3 seconds of stun? So probably Static Charge is for you to have more uptime of Capacitor Totems in the right times, when you need to maybe interrupt mobs, or you need to stun them in some concrete moments. And the Guardian's Cudgel is just gonna twice the stun duration of your stun, but you wouldn't be able to provide your group with stuns on as frequently as you can do with this talent, which is very good. Very good talents, very good choices in these talents. Definitely makes you think. Tremor Totem. Summons a totem at your feet that shakes the ground around it for 10 seconds, removing fear, charm, and sleep effects from party and raid members within 30 yards. So that's like utility. If you know that there are gonna be fear, charm, and sleep effects at any encounters, and you can... I'm very sorry, God bless me. And if you know that you need it, you will take it. If you know that you're not gonna need it, you will just like skip it. Ancestral Defense increases leech and avoidance by 2%, so you have a little bit of sustain and a little bit of damage damage like evasion stuff going on here just passively. Okay, if you're not gonna take as much of a utilitarian parts of the trees, that is here for you to just be a little bit better version of yourself, not doing anything, not pressing any buttons. Spirit Walker's Grace, which is not guaranteed to you now, instead of what it was before. Instant 2 minutes cooldown calls upon the guidance of the spirits for 15 seconds per meeting movement while casting Shaman spells, castable while casting. So like 15 seconds you can cast everything on your feet. Elemental Orbit increases the number of elemental shields you can have active on yourself by 1. You can have Earth Shield on yourself and 1 ally at the same time. Okay, so that's if you want to be again more hybrid and you want to get yourself more sustainability and don't lose your lightning shield as well during the process of getting more sustain. Man, let's go with this part, then we're gonna go with center and here. Like, this talent tree is huge. Graceful Spirit. Graceful Spirit reduces the cooldown of Spirit Walker's Grace by 30 seconds and increases your movement speed by 20% while it is active. Okay, so it becomes it becomes better for PvP 100%. It becomes very good, like 1.5 minute cooldown, gives you additional mobility in raids 100%. It may be not as much as M+, not because you don't really need as much movement speed to do stuff there, but depends on your spec, of course. I'm talking about enhancement right now, but and probably enhancement just don't really need Spirit Walker's Grace anyways, because you can spend your talent points in so many ways instead of it. Spirit Walker's Aegis. When you cast Spirit Walker's Grace, you become immune to silence and interrupt effects for 5 seconds. That's your PvP key. 100%, and probably of course not for enhancement as well, but that seems very PvP oriented. Alright, let's take something here. Totemic Surge reduces the cooldown of your totems by 2 seconds. And then 4 seconds. Or Elemental Warding reduces all magic damage taken by 2% and then by 4%. So as you can see, here we have some utility. We have stuff for the casters and just a bunch of passive stuff. Passive increases for you to take less damage, to have some additional sustain and stuff like that. Healing Stream Totem. Okay, so deep down here. Summons a totem at your feet for 15 seconds that heals an injured party or raid member within 40 yards for health every 1.9 or like 2 seconds. If you already know Healing Stream Totem, instead, gain 1 additional charge of Healing Stream Totem. You can probably know it in your Restoration Shaman talent tree. Okay, 2 charges. Interesting, maybe not as as huge, but still quite interesting. Now let's go now with the center part. So you're choosing one, either Wind Rush Totem, summons a totem at the target location for 15 seconds continually, granting all allies who pass within 10 yards 40% increased movement speed for 5 seconds. Okay, that's something new. You can gain gain your raid additional movement speed, additional mobility, which is gonna be good either way, and you're probably gonna take it at some encounters where your raid needs that mobility. Just great. 2 minutes cooldown, which is quite big, but still pretty good. Earth Grab Totem. Summons a totem to the target location for 20 seconds. The totem pulses every 2 seconds, routing all enemies within 8 yards for 8 seconds. Enemies previously routed by the totem instead suffer 50% movement speed reduction. 1 minute cooldown instant, definitely PvP option, definitely solo activities option, and maybe some M+, or like you can route some ads in raid encounters as well, 100%. Then Nature's Guardian. Oh no, wait a second. Hex first. So Hex goes after Cleanse Spirit, transforms the enemy into a frog for 1 minute. While Hex, the victim is incapacitated and cannot attack or cast spells. Damage may cancel the effects. Limit 1. Only works on humanoids and beasts. 30 seconds cooldown, 1.6 seconds cast time. Again, not 100% is gonna be taken in every situations. Have situations where you're gonna use it, when you're gonna need it. Have some situations where you don't need it 100% and you just skip it, which is quite cool that you're having a choice. Yeah, with how much skills are here, you're having a choice to take like almost every ability or not to take any ability that you have. Nature's Guidance. When your health is brought below 35%, you instantly heal for 10 and then 20% of your maximum health. Cannot occur more than once every 45 seconds. So yeah, if you're dropping below health and you want to have some additional health, and if your healers are not really capable to heal you in current state, that they like don't have enough mana, so it's good for like some situations, maybe for progging, maybe for progressing, I mean, or like in PvP. But again, you're taking this talent instead of other talents, and how good is that gonna be? I cannot say. I cannot be sure, like in my thoughts on this point. Improved Lightning Bolt increases the damage of your Lightning Bolt by 10 and then like 20%. Yeah, and as you can see, you have just like straight up damage increase in the talent that near your Nature's Guardian, and you have so limited talent points where you're definitely not gonna take every utility imaginable, and you're gonna make so hard choices here. I love this talent tree. It looks just amazing. With all the with all the richness of the choices here, with all the different ways that you can increase the power of your character, you can like customize almost everything. Voodoo Mastery reduces the cooldown of your hex spell by 15 seconds if you need more hexes. Or Enfeeblement. When hex ends, the target is slowed by 70% for 4 seconds. Again, that's 100% PvP talent. It even as you can see, it's a dead end, which is quite often in all the talent trees that I've saw. Dead ends were either like PvP talents or very situational ones. And then we have our Totemic Projection. Relocates your active totems to the specified location. 10 seconds cooldown. So that's if you've... But are there as much constant like 5-minute totems right now in the game? They're all have pretty low uptime. It's cool that you can relocate them, of course, in some situations where you need to move fast between places and you have a couple of your totems up. Okay, pretty interesting. And of course gives a little bit of nostalgia feeling. with the old Shaman totems system. Nature's Fury increases your critical strike chance of your nature spells by 2%. And then again, you either have utility or just have straight up critical strike chance for your nature spells. Winds of Valakir increases the movement speed bonus of Ghost Wolf by 5% and then probably by 10%. When you have 3 or more totems active, your movement speed is increased by 15%. Just passive movement speed for you, and not only it increases movement speed in Ghost Wolf, or additionally if you're just having a lot of totems. Okay, so while reincarnation is off cooldown, so while it's up, while you didn't reincarnate it in the near time, your maximum health is increased by 8%. While you're at full health, reincarnation cools down 75% faster. Very cool stuff. But like, again, situational. Again, of course, not in all situations you want to die, or again, die repeatedly. Yeah, but it's again still like it's some way to customize your character to like give it additional lives and stuff like that in shorter periods of time. Yeah, but probably you're not gonna take it in like any situation. 100% you're not gonna take it in all situations. Either Spirit Walk removes all movement impairing effects and increases your movement speed by 60% for 8 seconds. Ooh, so just anti-control skill and increases movement speed again. So more mobility to shamans. Just in general, from the feeling of the tree, at least mobility that you can buy to yourself, and that's gonna cost you either healing output or damage output or straight up survivability. Gust of Wind, 30 seconds cooldown. A gust of wind hurls you forward, like a blink, I guess. Okay, sounds pretty funny. Additional mobility, especially not only for enhancement shaman, is very, very cool. Man, they've went so big dick with all these changes. That looks pretty cool. Now we have what? We have these parts of the talents left, which means that I'm gonna go here. So let's take some points. Go with the flow reduces the cooldown of Spirit Walk by 7.5 seconds. Okay. And reduces the cooldown of Gust of Wind by 5 seconds. So more mobility. Straight up, just if you want to be faster, just if you want your blinks to be up in the encounter more, here you go, you can take these talents. Surge in Shields increases the damage dealt by Lightning Shield by 50%, and it has an additional 25% chance to trigger Maelstrom weapon when triggered. Increases the healing done by Earth Shield by 13%. That's if you're going hard on the shields. Totemic Recall resets the cooldown of your most recently used totem with a base cooldown shorter than 3 minutes. Man, I can't like say enough how cool all this looks. Call of the Elements reduces the cooldown of Call of the Elements by 60 seconds. Call of the Elements, no, Call of the Elements, okay. Or Creation Core, Call of the Elements effect and additional totem. I guess there are some totem changes, Call of the Elements, that I'm not, that I don't know about, and that probably relocating your totems and reducing cooldown of stuff that brings your totems, couple of your totems alive is, yeah, like there are some things that going on totems and I don't know them yet. Creation Core, Call of the Elements affects an additional totem. Yeah, so you probably can place your totems, couple of totems in one GCD, just like before you was able to do it. Are there some buff totems? Maybe let's look at the... definitely not here. Definitely not as baseline stuff, but maybe there are totems in other talent trees of the like, yeah. So interesting. We need to see. We need to see more. We need to like, yeah, check all this stuff. Then we go with Totemic Focus. Increases the radius of your totem's effect by 8%, increases the duration of your Earthbind and Earth Grab totem by 5 seconds, increases the duration of your Healing Stream, Mana Spring, Tremor, Poison Cleansing, and Wind Rush totem by 1.5 seconds. And then it goes up to, like, it doubles down on itself. Poison Cleansing Totem. Summon a totem at your feet that removes one poison effect from a nearby party or raid member within 30 yards every 1.5 seconds for 6 seconds. So again, pretty good cooldown, but pretty short duration. For the encounters when you know that there are gonna be tons of poisons, you're gonna take it 100%. Now, Stone Skin Totem. Very cheap on mana. Instant 30 seconds cooldown. Summons a totem at your feet for 15 seconds that reducing physical damage taken by party members within 30 yards by 10%. And it doesn't say here for how long. Wait a second. For 15 seconds. And 30 seconds cooldown. Yeah, so you have so much totems now. Yeah, it brings up this shamanistic style of the class so hard, which it's very cool. Tranquil Air Totem. Summons a totem at your feet for 20 seconds that prevents cast pushback and reduces the duration of all incoming interrupt effects by 50% for party members within 30 yards. Looks a bit more like PvP oriented and looks way more than Stone Skin. The second totem looks way more man, I forgot the fucking word, but you're gonna take it probably less. That's what I want to say. Situational, that's the word. Yeah, situational. Now let's go with the lightning damage increases, probably. Let's go here. Thunderstorm calls down a bolt of lightning, dealing pretty low nature damage to all enemies within 10 yards, reducing their movement speed by 40% for 5 seconds, and knocking them away from the Shaman, usable while stunned. So that's your ability to knock back all the enemies that are on you. It's probably more of a PvP talent as well. It doesn't really deal too much damage. It may be used in some PvE encounters in M+, or maybe sometimes in some raid encounters as well, but yeah. Then either Thundershock, Thunderstorm knocks enemies up instead of away, and its cooldown is reduced by 5 seconds. Okay. So knocking them up, it means like that's like stun but for how long? So there's no knocks enemy up. Yeah, there's no. It just knocks them up and then they're standing again, I guess. So it's not. It's a bit of like AoE interrupt ish stuff, more than like additional AoE stun or lightning lasso. Lightning lasso is now in PvE talents. And is available, okay. Grips the target in lightning, stunning and dealing pretty substantial nature damage over 5 seconds while the target is lassoed. Can move while channeling, 45 seconds cooldown and instant. Yeah, so that's for you to stun the enemy, to get him in your lasso. You can move if you need. Of course, it's gonna see its uses in PvP more likely. Yeah, but it's cool that you can use it in PvE as well. Like, yeah, pretty interesting. Nature Swiftness. Your next healing or damage in nature spell is instant cast and costs no mana. 1 minute cooldown. That's the thing that we've had already. Let's go with this talent here and. Yeah, and now look at what do we have in the last part of our talent tree. Man, this talent tree is massive and is interesting as hell. Swirling Currents. Using Healing Stream Totem increases the healing of your next 3 healing surges by 13%. You're probably 100% times taking it with your Resto Shaman. And then by 25%, Mana Spring Totem, again, the thing that you need on heals mostly. Summons a totem at your feet for 15 seconds that restores 50 mana to party members within 30 yards when you cast Lava Burst or Storm Strike. The last part is probably more for the Enhancement Shaman. Yeah, 100% for Enhancement Shaman. But it's very interesting that you have Mana Spring Totem. Ancestral Guidance. For the next 10 seconds with 2 minutes cooldown, 25% of your damage and healing is converted to healing on up to 3 nearby injured party or raid members. So you're losing part of your damage in order to heal some of your injured party or raid members. But you're losing your damage or healing 25% of it, and then you're spreading it on 3 targets, which means it's profitable. And again, it's still more of a healer stuff, I guess. But for damage dealers, it can be something like hybrid-ish talent. Yeah, so I like this thing very much. It's very cool. It's very wide. It has so much choice. It has so much talents that you're gonna get lost in it, and you're gonna have so much builds. Very cool. Very cool. So thanks for watching. Hope you like my content. Please subscribe if you don't mind to. Have a good day. Goodbye.